chair of the Broome County Democratic Committee. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for coming to our socially distanced Democratic Women of Broome County's Meet the Candidate Day. It's so nice to see you all here. I just wanted to make one announcement. Our local group here is having a speedy fundraiser on September the 20th. All of the proceeds from this fundraiser will be going to local candidates. It's on September the 20th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Speedy and Rib up on Upper Court Street. And the tickets are $20 a piece. And you can see Janet Stevens for a ticket. What did I say? I'm sorry, I'm on Court Street. Upper Front Street, excuse me. Okay, so it's Upper Front Street in Binghamton. $20 a ticket. It's for a great cause, all for our local candidates. And I just wanted, before we begin, I just wanted to first of all thank the candidates for stepping up and running. It's a very, very difficult thing to do, as the new people have found out and the more experienced already know. It's really very difficult, and you all need to be applauded for your concern for this community and your wish to make it a better place to live for all of us. And I just want to tell you that myself and the party appreciate the fact that you've stood up and run. This is such an important election, from the top all the way down. We got to get Joe Biden. He has to win. But locally, we have a set of candidates locally that are literally second to none. They care about their communities. We have a woman running for family court judge who has cared about families and children her entire career. That's what she's worked for, nothing else. She has a heart as big as anything, and she's a judge. She's not a politician. We have Ben Reynolds running for re-election again in the village of Johnson City. In the town of Union, we have Lori Wahila, who's running for councilwoman in the town of Union, and we have Kevin Every, who's running for councilman in the town of Union. Matt Wahila running for legislature in the 7th district. Terry Farrell, she's running in the 6th legislative district. Terry is new to politics, and we're so happy that she came around and stepped up. Elizabeth Pfister is running for, Elizabeth Pfister is running for clerk in the town of Windsor.
Yay, clerk Windsor!
Bob Wessler is running for re-election to our legislature. What district is that?
13, 1st Ward in the west side of the city of Binghamton.
Do you hear that?
No.
Jackson White. We have Jackson White. This young man is running in Legislative District 1. This is his first time running. He's already been out knocking on doors. He was out this morning knocking on doors with Marty. Susie Ryan, of course, is running for re-election. She's running for the legislature in District 11.
Susie!
We have Karen Beebe. Karen Beebe is running in District 12. She's never stopped running. She ran 2 years ago, and honest to God, she has never stopped running. She has been at the same pace the whole time. She's just wonderful.
And you know what? She's got those 64 votes.
I got it.
She's got it.
She's got the 64 votes.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's about it. All right, I'm going to shut up now and introduce Heather Staley. Heather Staley is our councilwoman from the town of Union. She won 2 years ago. It was a wonderful upset. She was the first Democrat there, probably in at least 10 or 12 years. And this year we're going to get a majority, right?
Yes. That's
We're
right.
going to get a super majority
Yeah.
in the town of Union. So here she is, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Democratic Women of Broome County, Councilwoman Heather Staley.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I really appreciate how many people, especially how many women, stepped up out of their comfort zone to put themselves out there and run. And, you know, you may not be successful this year, but we're going to cross our fingers and we're going to work every day to make sure you are successful this year. And if by chance you're not, then you're going to run again next year. I had to run twice and I prevailed on the second try. So we're going to get right into our candidates here. I'd like to announce Holly Levine. She's running for Family Court Judge here in Broome County.
Everyone's 6 feet away from me. I'll take off my mask.
Good afternoon, it's great to be here. Hopefully I don't have to convince any of you to vote for me. You've heard me speak before. But what I want to talk to you about is how important it is to get out the vote. And the fact that is that the election doesn't occur on November 3rd. The absentee ballots are being mailed September 21st. Today is the 12th, okay? So people are going to be receiving their ballots probably starting September 23rd. About 6,000 people will be receiving their ballots on that day. So the election is starting in less than 2 weeks. We need to get out the vote. We need to work on getting out the vote, and we have to assume that people are going to be voting starting September 22nd. I need your help in spreading my word. I'm in a county-wide race. Some of you are just concentrating on one district. I am running in all of Broome County. I need all of you to help me. We're going to be going door to door, passing my palm card or a revised version of this palm card. I'm going to need you to volunteer to help me. I need you to put on this button and wear it when you go to the grocery store, when you're out, anywhere. I need you to wear it. Believe it or not, people will stop you and talk to you and ask you who they are. I have given these buttons off of my chest. So please, wear the button, talk about me, okay? So, I'm in a judicial race. Okay, we're in a very contentious political season. There's a lot of passion out there on both sides. But when you're running as judge, and if you're representing and you're talking about my campaign, I cannot be political. A judge cannot be political. I want you to talk about my qualifications, and I'm going to tell you, I am the most qualified candidate running. You do not have to be apologetic. I am heads above the qualifications of my opponent. Okay? I've been a lawyer for 34 years in this community. I have a career of public service. I worked full-time in Broome County Family Court. I have over 5,000 hours of experience in family court. I've been representing people with mental illness and developmental disabilities. I served on the Maine Endel School Board. I have my community commitment is strong, my integrity is there, and my experience is there. No apologies. I am being supported from people on the other party. I have retired Republican judges who have publicly endorsed me. Judge Kevin Dowd, a New York State Supreme Court judge, about as conservative a man as you can get, let me tell you. About as conservative a man as you can get. He recognizes that I am the most qualified candidate. Judge Marty Smith, a retired Republican judge, he approached me to film a commercial to endorse me. Okay, so then that commercial is being very effective. So when you're out there talking to voters, you can tell them. Being a judge, I don't care. People say to me, well, I vote for voting for Trump. And I say, I'm not running for president. And I'm running as a judge for a judicial position. It is not political. It's about my experience. So when you are out there talking to people about me, they start talking to you about Trump, they start talking about politics, just say, we're not talking about this. This is not politics. This is about this woman's qualifications. She is the most qualified candidate. So please, everyone, I need your help. Get out there, knock on doors for me, make phone calls, wear the button, get a bumper sticker, put it on your car, talk to your friends, talk to your family. So thank you. With your help, I hope to be the next Broome County Family Court.
Okay, we're going to try to go in order by the size of the candidate's race, and it looks like the next person up would be Supervisor Rick Matteries from the town of Union.
Good.
When Rick and I won our seats in 2018, it had been since 2007 since any Democrat had won any race in the town of Union. We'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you all for showing up today. Appreciate that. My race should be fairly easy this year. The biggest thing that I have found in the last 2 years is if people will just work together, it's the best way to make government work. as well as neighbors. For the town of Union, the biggest problems we have are neighbors fighting against neighbors without talking to each other. They want the government to get involved. Unfortunately, the government can't solve a lot of the problems they want, but we do what we can. We have tried to be, I don't think Heather might agree with this, I don't think there have been too many instances where we have gotten political in the town of Union. It's been, this is the right thing to do and let's get it done. And I hope that all of your candidacies will get, if you get elected, you'll work for that same common goal as we serve the people. And that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be serving a party. We shouldn't be serving some person above us. We should be serving the people. And I think, and Heather has, I think, found that that's what we do at the town of Union. So I appreciate y'all being here. I hope ask you for your support and support everybody else. We need everybody else to get elected. It would be nice to knock off at least one more Republican from the town of Union board, if not two. I can think of one in particular I'd like to get rid of, but I'm not going to mention names. But thank you very much, and good luck to everybody who's here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Next up would be Lori Wahila. She is also running for the Town of Union Council, and this is her second time running, and I know you've got it this year, Lori.
Hello, everybody. If you don't know me, I've lived here my whole life. My grandparents settled here. All four of my grandparents were immigrants from Italy. Some of my grandparents worked at EJ's. They came here for a better life and they found it. We were raised here and we loved the community, and now my sons are back from college. They came back here because they love the community as well. I didn't touch it. I've been a teacher for 30 plus years. Never thought I'd ever run for office. But after the election in 2016, felt I had to step up to try to do whatever I could to make this a better place. I ran in 2018, almost won, came really close. So I hope to win this time around. And like Heather said, if we could elect at least one more Democrat, if not two, because it's an at-large election, which means there are 2 open seats or 2 seats that are currently held by Republicans. If either Kevin and or I together can get on the board, it would be the first time ever that the Democrats held the majority in the town of Union. So if you're talking to anybody who lives in Endicott, Endwell, or Johnson City, that's the town of Union, and they're complaining about things, tell them that it's been in the hands of Republicans. So if they don't like what's going on, we've got to get it in the hands of Democrats. And so that's what we need you to do. So thank you all for coming, and vote for us. Thank you.
I just want to mention that Lori and Kevin have some sign-up sheets over here on the table. They're looking for volunteers to help drop literature. So if you would like to sign up, I'll leave these on the table.
Heather, it's not just for Kevin and I. We're doing Endicott, Endwell, and Johnson City. So any of the other candidates who are part of the area that we're going to be dropping lit, we could use anybody's help. And even if you're not from our district, if you want to help us out, you don't have to knock on doors and talk to people. We're just dropping literature. And or you can also just drive other people. If you have a big car and you can fit 2 people in the back seat, you know, so we've got this physical social distancing. It makes our job a lot easier because we can just run the doors and drop the hangers and somebody just drives along. So yeah, sign-up sheets are up here. You can sign up.
Yeah, Heather, I volunteered to volunteer to take some of her stuff around my north side of JC, JC 9 and 10, up Reynolds Road above the high school. So I will try to take care as much.
We're going to put the literature together for any other candidate.
Great, thank you. And if you have any question for the
if I want
candidates,
to,
just
if you want
raise
to
your
bundle that
hand.
with other JC stuff, with for ban or whatever, I'll be glad. It's no extra if I add another one on there.
Thank you. That's what we need, volunteers. Okay, up next is newcomer Mr. Kevin Every, and he is also running with Lori for the town of Union.
Hello. So I'm not a politician. Okay. So Lori asked me to run, and I think I agreed to run in 2 seconds. Why is because this community stood behind me and my family. We have a son named Duran. He was born in 2003 with heart defects, and we were new to the community, but they rallied behind us, supported us, got us through some really bad times with Duran, and I knew this was going to be my home from there on out. So the neighbors, our neighbors, church members, they pulled together and got us through that. Back to Duran, when he was 8, he also suffered a stroke, and our community just backed us the whole time, got us through that. So I just thought this is an opportunity for me to give back to everybody who's been supporting us. In 2019, we went to go pick up my son. He was in college, and Duran had a fall, and he fell. He hit his head, and he needed brain surgery. So we got through that, and it turned out about a month later, Duran needed a heart transplant due to that fall. It just pushed his heart over the edge. So I ended up down in New York City 11 o'clock at night. When I woke up the next morning, I knew instantly I wasn't going to be able to provide for me, him, and plus I had my wife and kids at home. And so I did a Facebook fundraiser, and this community raised $12,000 for my family. So this is my this is my opportunity to give back. And once Lori asked me, I knew I needed to step up, because things just right now in the world it's not right, and I want to make a change. So part of my platform I'm running on, I'm big on youth programs. I have 2 sons that went to college to play football, and I just think that if you give kids something to focus on, they're going to find something to focus on one way or the next, right? So if we provide things for them to focus on, they have a better chance of a good outcome, I feel. I like to support schools and after-school programs. My wife is a teacher's aide, and I hear stories about teachers providing their own, what do I want to say? Supplies, exactly, I'm sorry. And that's not right, so I like to support stuff like that. Also support low-income housing for families. Me and my wife and my family, we were actually on Section 8 when we first came up here. It was a safety net for us. Through hard work and saving money and getting our credit scores right, we're now homeowners in the town of Union. I'd like to continue to bring new jobs to the area. Every time you look, Broome County gets a bad rap as far as everybody wants to run out of here. You got kids in BU, they graduate, other kids in this area that go, to other different colleges, and they come back home and immediately they want to leave. And we need to keep them people here, okay? And then also the biggest one would be, back to Duran, we felt like, Duran's injury came from an IBM spill. He was born in that plume, so our water, clean water and clean air is very important to me. And that's about it.
Anthony Brindisi, our congressman, unfortunately he could not be here today. He had another obligation, but Claudia Stankiewicz from his office will be speaking on his behalf today.
Hey, Claudia.
Hey everybody, can everyone hear me okay? Hey everyone, I'm Claudia Stankiewicz, and I of course am not Congressman Anthony Brindisi. He could not be here today. Of course, very sad about that. I'm very sad about that. A lot of people call me the good Claudia. That is because...
Yeah.
But I got rid of that nickname 2 years ago, but unfortunately I did not. We have a rematch this cycle, so of course, as a lot of you know, there's, it's going to be a tough re-election. There's a lot of money coming in from outside of the district, a lot of dark money spending, a lot of lies out there, and so what we have been doing over the last few months is working hard at having a lot of phone calls and directly reaching voters and having those conversations with people to correct those lies and, answer any questions that people might have or concerns that people might have directly, because we know that that's the best way to, address any of those concerns that voters might have about voting for Anthony this cycle. It was tough last time. In 2018, this district was the biggest Trump flip in the entire country. It was a Trump plus 15 in 2016, and in 2018 we flipped the district with just less than 2% of the vote, which is around 4,000 votes last cycle. So we know it's going to be tough now, especially. It's of course a very weird year. I mean, we planned for a lot of things, but a pandemic was not one of them. So actually this morning I was just meeting with a group talking about what our plans are going to be for vote by mail this cycle. Because of course we want to make sure that everybody's votes are counted, that everybody is able to vote safely. So what our team is doing right now is making sure that we're talking to voters and talking about what their options are for voting this cycle. Not only vote by mail, but early and in person, or on election day and in person. So that's what we're working really hard at doing right now, is making sure that we are getting that message across and, that everybody's votes are counted. Not only, to help Congressman Brindisi, but also to help every Democrat in Broome County, right? So that's what we're hoping to do. So yeah, that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions. Great.
Yay! Claudia! Woo! The only time you get yells for Claudia. Woo!
Next up, Chairwoman Kane will be speaking for Barb Mullen and Judge Gary, who cannot be with us today. Hello, everybody. I'll speak first about Judge Gary. There are 4 presiding justices in the state of New York, and Judge Gary is one of them. And she's the first presiding judge from this district in 76 years. So we finally have representation through Judge Gary. She also leads the appellate court here in the state of New York, and she's the Judicial Department's chief administrator. So she oversees admission, discipline of the lawyers, and committees such as mental health and attorneys for children. She represents our region in Albany and New York City. She grew up on a dairy farm. She learned the value of hard work, and now she works for us. She has 19 years judicial experience, 5 years as town justice. She was elected to the Supreme Court in 2006. She was appointed to the appellate division in 2009, and she was promoted to the presiding justice in 2018. We're very proud of Judge Gary. When I first moved up here in 2004, I lived in Owego, and that was the first campaign I worked on when I moved up here. It was Justice Gary. Her and her campaign manager came to my house, and we had dinner and talked about the campaign. So I have a real sweet spot in my heart for Elizabeth. She was my first race and my first win. So I just have a soft spot for her. There are 2 seats open, and there are 2 people running, a Democrat and a Republican. So we will get Elizabeth for another 14 years, thank God. So I'm very happy about that. Barb Mullen. Barb Mullen is running for legislature in the 5th District, which is basically West Vestal. She's running against Dan Reynolds, who's the current chair of the legislature. He's been there for many years. Barb, this is her 2nd time running. She ran 2 years ago and did well. It's a tough race. It's a very tough race. It's a tough district, but she hit the ground running. She's raising money. She's been making phone calls, hundreds and hundreds of phone calls. She's done a mailing already. She's preparing another mailing. She's really in it. She's really pushing and working hard. She has decades of service to this community. She's been a social worker and an educator. She worked at Johnson City High School for a number of years as a social worker there. And she will never give up fighting. And if you knew Barb, you know she won't. She's something else. There are a few issues that she'd like to address. The first, of course, is the county finances. COVID-19 has hit the county finances hard, and she will support responsible and resourceful budgeting. Jobs and local economy, of course, is very important to her. We're going to feel the effects of COVID-19 on the workforce and the economy for many, many years. And she will use her partnerships across the county to develop collaborations for a new and better local economy. She also, like Kevin, she talks about affordable housing and senior housing here in Broome County, and of course the opiate crisis. That's always on our radar, and she will continue to work to expand the drug awareness, education, and treatment here, right here in Broome County. Thank you very much.
I also wanted to mention that as a fundraiser, we have Margarita Rossi. She's selling the wonderful patriotic themed jewelry. And Carol Griffin, who my kids call the Cookie Lady, has baked goods over here. And if none of that suits your fancy, we also have a blue basket on the table. We are collecting donations for our yearly scholarship fund. Each year we award 2 young ladies graduating high school an $800 scholarship for college. So, on to our next candidate, Elizabeth Pfister. She's running for re-election for Windsor Town Clerk.
Yay, Liz.
Well, thanks everybody for coming out. I am new to politics. I was appointed to the Windsor Town Clerk position last November when the previously elected clerk resigned. I am the only Democrat serving in the town of Windsor as an elected official at this time, and I've been welcomed very openly. And I want to continue to provide services for the people in our town out there. A lot of things were taken away that were done in the clerk's office, and we're slowly trying to bring them back. I grew up in Windsor, so it's near and dear to my heart to be there, and I really enjoy what I'm doing and working with the people in our town. So I want to continue to do that and serve them, and so I'm running unopposed, so I'm pretty sure I will be. But thank you for the opportunity today to share with you about my campaign.
Next up, I'd like to welcome Karen Beebe, running for County Ledge in District 12.
Karen Beebe.
Hello. Thank you all for coming today. I'm pleased to be able to speak to you. So when I was sitting down this morning trying to think of what I was going to talk about, I was thinking about the usual stuff, but then I remembered you guys have seen me a lot, you've heard me a lot, I've been around for a couple of years now. So while I was trying to string together 2 coherent thoughts, my children were running around and making a mess and being loud, and I realized, this is what I need to talk about. I need to talk about why we need to elect women into roles of policy and legislating. So, my husband, bless his soul, he's a very progressive guy, but he works a lot. So, he's working 6 days a week with the post office. So, most of the childcare and school and all that stuff falls on yours truly. And even though he's a progressive guy, he truly has benefited from the structures that have been in place for centuries where men are able to go to their jobs unfettered, and, it's great. I'm thankful, I'm grateful. He's doing a good job, he's working hard. But he comes home and he doesn't have to worry about who's watching the kids, what they're having for lunch, what's going on at school. And right now school is bananas. I will let you guys know that. Returning to school in a pandemic is very complicated and very complex, and it's a lot of phone calls. I do. One of us has to.
I also work. I'm an essential employee too. I work at Wilson. I work in the laboratory. We're processing all those lovely COVID tests. So here's one thing that COVID did. It basically took parents and forced them back into the household. And I'm going to generalize and say most of the parents that were forced back in the home were women. Okay? Because we no longer had school. And we don't have affordable childcare or childcare that was open. So this is where electing women changes things. It shifts the dynamics. Men don't legislate these things because it doesn't directly impact them. Generalization. I want to applaud Jason Garner. He did a great job when schools shut down. He immediately opened a county childcare, which was awesome. I love that. I'm so proud of that. So along those lines, we need to legislate towards families, right? We need to get women in there because we have different experiences. We have a shared collective experience that's totally different than men's experience. So when I'm elected, because it's gonna happen, I want to see the county be able to provide more affordable and accessible childcare. I know Assemblywoman Lepardo, this is one of her key issues, and I look forward to working with state officials to make that happen right here in Broome County. Okay? A lot of things that we noticed. Seniors were impacted by COVID big time. They were a vulnerable population. They were forced back into their homes and they were isolated. So, as a hospital worker, what do we see? We see a delay in medical care. We see them being isolated socially and emotionally, and that's damaging. We also see a lack of access to food. So food insecurity goes up. So while working for the county, I want to make sure that we're addressing those issues and that we're supporting and writing initiatives to support those issues. Another thing that I noticed was broadband. I don't know if any of you have been homeschooling a child, but remote learning is difficult when you have spotty internet access. I know that Anthony Brindisi, this is one of his key talking points. I look forward to working with him to loosen up some financials to bring money to the southern tier to upgrade this infrastructure. I know for me, they impact everyone, really, they really do. And that is our job as a legislator, is to advocate for the folks living in our district and living in Broome County. Thank you guys so much. Next, I'd like to introduce our very own Assemblywoman, Donna Lepardo.
Hello. I didn't think I was making a speech.
We can let you get away without saying a few words.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, hi, everybody.
Sorry I got here a little bit late. I had a doctor's appointment that ran long, and I just thought I'd stop by and just say hello to everybody. And thank you for all of the various roles you're playing, whether you've stepped up and are running, you're working behind the scenes, you're an elected official, you're someone who is hoping for better days, not only for our county, our state, and our country. As an elected official, I don't recall a more difficult or strenuous or stressful time than what we're going through right now. I am so grateful to everyone who has stepped up to try to provide some sanity and normalcy and reasonableness and the ability to help come together to solve problems. The last thing we need, and most of you I know are in agreement with me, is the last thing we need is further polarization. We need people who want to see this community come back. And we were doing pretty good, I thought. We were doing pretty good, pretty damn good. We had some great projects underway. We had a lot of initiatives, and we still do. Because the community that I serve has a lot of heart and a lot of soul and a lot of dedicated individuals like yourselves. So I wanted to just thank you. Thank you for all the roles that you're playing. Because we couldn't have hope if it were not for you. I'm wearing this mask I got the other day, which I'm going to be sort of using this hashtag a lot. Hashtag Broome Has Hope. This is for a campaign for suicide prevention. But I like the general theme, Broome Has Hope. And we have hope because of all of you and all the work that we're doing. Just so you know, our top issue right now at the state level is school funding. I have posted some things. I posted something the other day just out of sheer frustration. I said, surely, that was the first word I said in my tweet, surely we can find a way to come together so that our children are not put in such a vulnerable spot. There are no blue state children, no red state children, they're just children. And we have this terrible impasse that shouldn't be happening on the backs of our children's futures and their education. Yet it persists, and I can't explain it. I am unable to explain how we have let this happen. And I know that we're looking at an end of September deadline to get federal funding, but right now in your school districts, cuts are already happening. Cutbacks are being made, cuts to BOCES, cuts to programming, sports, teachers' aides, kitchen, maintenance. So meanwhile, as we say back at the ranch, the cuts are already happening. And yet we're waiting, as if the money will just, the spigot will just turn on the moment somebody comes to their senses down in Washington. So that's our top issue right now, and along with making sure the money that the state received is gotten out the door. I helped coordinate, and thank you for the mention, Aaron, I coordinated a statewide child care day of action recently, where we had press conferences in 10 different places around the state, including one virtual. We did one here. And within a week, almost $900 million was released by the governor into various child care programs. Now, I'm not taking full credit for this, but it just goes to show you that if you're coordinated, and if everybody is saying the same thing at the same time across the state, that child care is a high value, and you've received the money. It's not as if this is one of those things that we haven't received money for. You've received the money, yet they're trying to figure out the best way to spend it. Let's just figure it out already. So child care, school aid, trying to stabilize our healthcare systems, working on this policy to try to help people get into nursing homes to visit their loved ones, and assisted living facilities. One of the things I've learned, and then I'll stop talking because I could go on forever on this stuff. One of the things I've learned is that people who visit nursing homes who have family members there, they provide a vital service to the nursing home itself. They're not just visiting their families. You take them out of the equation, we've learned that vital daily care isn't happening. And their advocacy conversations to bear and have some reasonable people solve them. We can do this. Thank you to Rick and to many of the others and Jason who are running, who are incumbents, that support them. And of course I'm running too, but no point this year. Thank you very much, everybody.
Assemblywoman, and sorry we put you on the spot there. But
Wound me up. I got wound up.
Words. Next up is Bob Wesler, running for Legislative District 13, which is the first ward.
First ward.
Part of the west side of
West side. First ward. West side. First ward. First ward. West side. Donald Lapardo. How? Why would you do that to me? Donald Lapardo. Run. This is what I look like. I'm Bob Wesler. I am your legislator for the first ward in the west side of the city of Binghamton. I am running for re-election. And when you find something that you love to do, you need to keep doing it. I was on city council for 8 years. I loved every moment of it. I loved doing this, and I am honored that I get the opportunity to serve the constituency and the city and the county. I was able this year, by building relationships with people within the departments of the county, just by having conversations and having a few meetings, we had 2 families whose homes were saved from being taken away for taxes during the COVID crisis. One of those families was a cancer survivor, still undergoing treatment on yet another form of cancer that they had just gotten. We do these things because it's the right thing to do. When I was on city council, my favorite thing that happened, honestly, was I got a street sign moved 6 inches. There was no parking here at the corner. They needed to put a pad between the curtain and so they could get his 86-year-old father into the house, straight in. It took 4 months of meetings with the lawyers and with the traffic board and with the council and then back, but we got it done. And you know what? We changed a life. That's great. In my first year here on the legislature, I was walking down the hallway at Lord's Hospital where I work, and a fellow asked me, "Do you know anything about the Triple Cities Airport?" And I said, "No, why?" He said, "Well, we've got an organ harvest coming up, and Broome County Airport's closing at 6. The plane won't be here till at least 6:30. And so I'm trying to get hold of Triple Cities to see if they can help." And I said, "Hold on." I was able to make a phone call to the head of the airport, and I got an answering machine. I called the assistant. I got an answering machine. I called the county executive's office. I got an answering machine. I called Mr. McManus. I got an answering machine. I called the county executive's assistant, and he answered the phone. I explained the situation, and 25 minutes later, I got a phone call back saying that the airport would remain open, and that plane did land, and we did not get that heart. We got the heart, we got the lungs, we got the eyes, we got the liver. We changed lives. And I have the honor and privilege of being able to make those phone calls. Name any revenue, and it's down. It's starting to slowly build up, but it's not where it was. Our next budget that we just were presented presents a very wise and logical solution to help us get through this time so that all of 2021 we're safe. We've got an even budget that adds a certain amount of just-in-case money that we're going to do on a short-term borrow. What that does is that maintains the status quo while giving everyone a tax break. Actually, we're giving you a small tax break, but we're status quo as far as our revenue sources and our expenditures. We've got put into place a borrowing plan that's short-term that will get us into the next year and worst-case scenario. It will work, it's sound, it's safe, it's just, and it's what we as a community need to do for each other. It's what we as legislators need to do for you. I'm proud to work for that. I'm proud to work with my co-legislators on making and finding sound solutions. I look forward to joining with me brand new legislators who I see in this crowd right now. Let's give you all a hand. Woo! Because the future is Ben Reynolds. The future is Matt Wahila. The future is Ms. Beebe. But more importantly, the future is your children. Yours, your grandchildren. And that's what we're working for. And that's what we have to keep our eye on, is that. So thank you very much. On to victory. And this guy right here too, Matt what? No, Jackson White. Yeah. I think it's out there.
Next up, we have running for re-election Susie Ryan from District 11.
Hi everyone, it's so great to be here, and it's so great to be running again, and this time unopposed. So I won't speak too long, but I will thank once again my colleagues, both on the legislature and soon to be on the legislature, in the town of Union. I am so happy to be part of this district, part of the Broome County legislature. I am so proud to be a Democrat this year more than ever. I look around. I look around and there was a picture of Karen Beebe, Barb Mullen and I, and we made a little joke. If a social scientist, a medical scientist, and environmental scientist walk into a legislature, what happens? Well, I look around this room and I would add an experienced, caring legislator like Bob Wessler, and a young, dynamic, and brilliant young man like Benjamin Reynolds, and all of the people running, and then the experience you see over here with the Wahilas and with Holly Levine, and you think, this is the Democratic Party. This is what we represent, every walk of life, and you know what? We are evidence-based decision makers.
Science, science.
Yes. Be it science, data, or social activism, we feel the change that's sweeping across not just our town, but across this nation. I ran on a green platform. I did work on that. I helped to bring climate smart community funds from the state. Thank you, Donna, and everyone that helped us bring several $1 million back here to Broome County in order to help monitor our watershed, help to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, invest in solar, and a lot of other good things that the county needs to do and every community needs to do. But since then, a lot has changed, and I realize now more than ever we need to be focused on our community, on social justice. Last year I went to visit the jail. I'd never been to the jail. It was an eye-opener for me. I'm still advocating for improved conditions at the jail. I'm still finding out that things aren't good at the jail, and we are working on that. We still have a sheriff that keeps building his fiefdom, while every other department has chosen to cut, furlough, or hold steady their personnel line. He's asking for 2 new road patrols. Granted, we will listen to his argument on why it's needed, but we will challenge him every step of the way. So the idea that Democrats are for big government and Republicans are for small government is actually the opposite of what I've experienced. What Democrats are for, smarter government. That's what we talk about. That's what we care about. We challenge each other. We challenge each other in caucus. We challenge the county executive. He appreciates it. It makes for better government. We don't just walk behind our leader and say, yes, sir, no, sir, whatever you say, sir. And that's what I love about the people here, the people I work with, and the people that I will be working with soon. So all of you, thank you for your help. Everyone that's ever offered to donate or help me, I always say, no, pick your favorite Democratic candidate. I don't need the help this year. They do. We need to flip the legislature, get Holly Levine on family court, improve the town of Union. We have a lot of work to do. So please get out there and help. Thank you all. And who's next?
Up next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Matthew Wahila. He's running for legislator in District 7.
Yay, Matt.
Alright, hi everyone. Those of you that don't know me, my name's Matt Wahila. I'm a research scientist at Binghamton University. I've lived in this community my whole life. I've never really been much into politics until recently. But this is actually my second time running for office, although it's my first time running during a pandemic, so it's still a bit of a learning experience. But I'll say the good thing is that's what I'm good at. I'm good at learning. I mean, I spent 10 years in higher education getting my PhD, so I'm not afraid to learn new things. I'm not afraid to work hard. I'm not afraid to challenge ideas and to really go out and search for solutions to problems. So really, I think that's what I'm hoping to do on the county legislature, especially for my district, is to bring that new perspective, that outside perspective, that evidence-based perspective, as Susie said, because I'm a scientist, not a politician. So I'm looking forward to bringing a new green energy sort of perspective, a renewable energy perspective to our county. My background, that's essentially what my background is. I spent years researching electronics, semiconductor materials that are more non-toxic, more earth abundant, more friendly for the environment. That was what my PhD was on. I've spent years working with Dr. Stan Whittingham, the Nobel laureate at Bennington University, on battery research, lithium-ion battery research. And now I'm currently working on some research for the DoD, actually, on what's called neuromorphic computing. So when we talk about these sort of new technologies, this coming technologies, renewable energy technology, that's my bread and butter. That's what I deal with on a daily basis. That's what I understand. And I think it's time our government understands that too. I'm sick of these career politicians and these business people that don't know what they're talking about, trying to make policy and bring projects into the community that they don't understand themselves, and they don't understand the consequences of those projects. But I do. So hopefully I can win my election, get on the county legislature and bring my perspective there, advocate for my neighbors in District 7, bring some hopefully positive change to our government, to our county. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with Susie Ryan and Karen Beebe and everyone else out here today. I think we could make some real good change for this district. Thank you. Vote for me.
Just let us know when we're back in business. Okay, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty, and I was going to mention that not only is Matthew a PhD, he's also a graphic designer, and he designed all my campaign materials for me in 2018. So just had to mention that for you there. Next up, running for the county legislator, District 6, is newcomer Terry Farrell. Woo!
Hi everyone. I'm a cheer coach, but I'm not going to be able to compete with Bob Wessler, unfortunately. I'd get him on my team if he was 12 and a girl. Well, no, boys, we take them too. Anyway, it's a great day for me to be here, and as a Democrat and as a female and someone who just found out that my 15-year-old is a Republican. It's okay, I still love him. I also really want to thank Heather Staley for getting me into politics. Kind of. So the reason I'm here today, everything that is important to me, it's based on personal experiences, my background, and my education. I was in my 20s and one of 4 children, and none of us had an opportunity financially to go to college. So in order to go to school, I subsidized my income by working at IBM. So I get a little emotional talking about this story because I was studying nutrition, I was healthy and fit, and I became very sick from working with trichloroethylene. And I saw a lot of things going on at IBM at the time. When I came in there, businesses were booming. Everything, people were getting incentives for driving into work. It was a great community. I mean, people were walking the streets. I thought, what an amazing opportunity. And then I got sick. I changed my degree to environmental science, and I went to the Environmental Science and Forestry School in Syracuse thinking I was going to get an education to learn what the relationship with toxins had and public health. I did graduate, and I'm very thankful. My dream was to go to Capitol Hill and be a lobbyist, and, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of legislation out there that protect our natural resources, our habitats, our ecosystems. I mean, we have a ton of wildlife and fishery. If you have an animal going extinct, there's a lot of legislation for that, right? If you Google public health and legislation, you're not going to find much. So, and I'm looking right at Kevin Everly right now because, this is the fight for clean air and clean water, and I think we all have a right to that. So, about in March, a group came to me and asked me for my expertise and to get involved because companies coming to our town, we've all learned from the history of IBM, and we've had enough pollution. And we want companies, we want them to be green, we want them to be safe, but we want the right ones. So that's my first personal experience and why I'm running. Last year, I met Heather Staley at a barbecue. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Watch Us, Change Us group. Kashif Summers is a very good friend of mine. And I was there with my company. I help individuals, the underserved population, find affordable and quality health care. And part of that is I've raised or helped with my company to get financial support to feed families in our communities. We raised about $45,000 for chow. I gave a check to the Union Endicott School District because my son goes there, and very near and dear to my heart are families who need these resources because as a child, I too suffered food insecurities. And so another really important issue to me. But I met Heather there. She was with Deborah Gelson, and I thought, wow, I really want to do this. Do I still really want to do this? Yes. But anyway, I just, again, I'm really thankful to be here. This is obviously, my first run. I have a tough competitor. I mean, he grew up in Endicott, born there, probably going to die there. And every time I get out of my car and my son gets really annoyed, like, oh my gosh, here we go again, I know that my run is more and more successful. So, again, I want to thank everybody here and go Blue.
Yeah, go Blue. Yeah, Terry.
Okay, next for the county legislator is newcomer Jackson White from District Number 1.
Yay, Jackson!
I'm going to take this off, but these work, so please keep wearing it.
This doesn't work.
Ben, where's our audio guy?
You got it.
Got it? Fixed it? Perfect. It was wise to ask for donations before I started speaking. That was very intelligent. So I didn't really have anything exactly prepared for this, but in sitting here, I've been thinking about it, and I want to start by saying this. People like Karen, people like Holly, people like all of these badass women who are here and running for office. It makes me so proud to be a Democrat because we care about that as Democrats, and that makes me very proud. Some of my constituents, or hopefully soon-to-be constituents, and the number one thing I kept hearing from them was, who's my legislator? Who? My legislator's been there for a decade? Been there for 12 years? I've never even seen him. I've never seen him once. Unacceptable. That's unacceptable. And that's why I'm here. I'm here because I want to be in this community. I want to be here fighting for the people who are here. And I'm...
No, it's the battery.
And last but not least, running for re-election, trustee Ben Reynolds.
That's my super fan, Steve Elkins. Super fan over there. He's awesome. We always remember him, we never forget. Well, if you don't know who I am, I think you do. My name is Ben Reynolds. I'm running for re-election to the Village Board in Johnson City. And I want to tell you why. This year is unlike any other year in the history of all of our lives. We all know that. Earlier this March, the Village Board proposed a budget. And that budget had all sorts of things in it that you need to maintain a village. But one thing it had was a major miscalculation. And the Village Board decided not to take into consideration the fact that we would be seeing a decrease in sales tax revenue across the board. And I was the only trustee on the Village Board that voted against that budget that miscalculated the sales tax revenue when we knew that we miscalculated the sales tax revenue And the majority on the village board still decided that they would vote and adopt a budget that they knew was wrong. And so we have already been having to make hard decisions about what kind of things that we're going to keep, what kind of things that we're going to decide to spend money on. And it's unfortunate that we're in that situation, but I think that we could have avoided it if we didn't adopt a budget that we knew was wrong. Additionally, there are some big things happening in Johnson City in the future that I'm sure you all know about. Binghamton University is expanding into the village. The pharmacy school has been a big advancement for our community. And we need somebody on the village board that's going to advocate for students. And it's not people that haven't been to college in 40 years. So, you know, I'm proud to be right there and know what's going on for our students and to be a voice for them, because student housing, as it increases in the village, we need people that are going to advocate that those students have quality student housing and that they're able to get, you know, a code inspection before they sign a lease, all that kind of thing, to make sure that, you know, the downstate parents aren't paying rent to an apartment that they've never seen, they don't know the conditions, and so we need to make sure someone's there to advocate for those students. So, along with Heather at the Town Union and Rick, we're making sure that code is doing great, and so those are just a couple other things that are happening in the village. Additionally, we are seeing, with the joint sewage treatment plant, increases in your sewage rates. And nobody wants that. So we need to make sure that we have people that are there to watch over the joint sewage treatment plant to make sure that they are passing smart budgets so that your sewage rates aren't always on the increase. However, of course, with COVID, I mean, all sorts of stuff is happening differently that way. But, to say the least, we need to make sure that we have people there that are smart about budgets and smart about our community. And so that's why I'm running for re-election. Thank you all for coming out here. Sorry to be last. I won't keep you that long. But go blue.
Roll A all the way.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up, Bridget?
Did you talk about the $12 million bond?
Okay, so earlier this year, this is another thing I meant to talk about. I forgot about this, actually. The village board, we have a DPW facility that's located in a flood zone right now. And a few weeks ago, in the middle of a pandemic, Greg Deemy, our mayor, put it on the agenda for the board that we would take out a $12 million loan. I do not think that right now it is smart that we put on the backs of Johnson City residents $12 million worth of a loan that people that are not even born yet will be paying off. I made a motion to hold over that resolution. It was held over. The following meeting it was tabled, and now we are exploring different options for this DPW facility. So I'm very proud to have halted that project and to be moving towards more cost-effective solutions for residents of Johnson City. We know we need to build a new DPW facility, but we're going to do it smart and cost-effective. What's up, Steve?
Ben, a quick question. Is there any continuation of the lawsuit against the prior owners and the prior people that built our bad sewage treatment plant with bad materials or miscalculated the width of the walls and all this stuff?
Yeah, unfortunately,
as a taxpayer of Johnson City.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't talk about a pending lawsuit, but we're doing our best.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe that is all of our candidates. I just want to thank them one more time for stepping up to run for office this year. Thank you, candidates. Also, thank you all the folks that drive volunteers, knock on doors, make phone calls, write letters, write checks, and donate freely. Also, all of our volunteers here at the Democratic Women. We have Lynn Terrier here, who is one of our videographers, and Patty Schwartz, who is also recording today's event. Thank you. And thank you, Carol, for the lovely desserts.
Come and buy, there are many left.
Buy them. Buy them.
Many left, she says, and they're the best out there. And Margarita for bringing all the wonderful patriotic merchandise today. Thank you, everyone, again.